Hello, 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 everybody. Hello, hello. Welcome to my very scuffed ASMR that I don't know. I don't know how to do ASMR, guys. Guys, I have a secret. I don't know what ASMR. I don't know how to do it. So this is gonna be a really scuffed reading of SCP files because I've been wanting to read them on stream for a while, and I thought it would be fun. But hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. I think my gain is a little too loud. How does this sound, everybody? I tried doing a recording beforehand, but you never know. You never know what changes. How does this sound? My gain might be a little too loud, but it's probably fine. It's probably fine. Who knows? But I got the SCP Foundation website pulled up here, and we're gonna start with the very first one over here. Look at this. SCP-001. The most important one. The top secret something or another. I don't know. I don't know much about SCPs, if I'm going to be completely honest. I am not 100% sure what it's all about. Yeah, we're gonna be reading them. SCP-001. The following files have been classified top secret by order of the administrator. General Notice 001 Alpha. In order to prevent knowledge of SCP-001 from being leaked, several/no false SCP-001 files have been created alongside the true file/files. All files concerning the nature of SCP-001, including the decoy/decoys, are protected by a memetic kill agent designed to immediately cause cardiac arrest in any non-authorized personnel attempting to access the file. Revealing the true nature/natures of SCP-001 to the general public is cause for execution, except as required under blank-blank-blank. Warning: any non-authorized personnel accessing this file will be immediately terminated through Berryman Langford Memetic Kill Agent. Scrolling down without proper memetic inoculation will result in immediate cardiac arrest, followed by death. You have been warned. Thank you for the biddy chi. I have turned off the notification sounds because that would not be very ASMR. But thank you very much. Memetic kill agent activated. Continued life signs confirmed. Removing safety interlocks. Welcome, authorized personnel. Please select your desired file. Not me testing if you did that. I know what you're about, Chi. I know what you're about. Newly declassified. No, we're going straight for number 2. Thank you. Give me that SCP-002. Okay. SCP-002. Item number SCP-002. Object class Euclid. Maybe like Euclidean. You guys know Euclidean math? Or is it Euclidean geometry? I think I learned about that once a while ago, but I don't really remember it much. Special containment procedures. SCP-002 is to remain connected to a suitable power supply at all times, to keep it in what appears to be a recharging mode. In case of electrical outage, the emergency barrier between the object and the facility is to be closed and the immediate area evacuated. Once facility power is reestablished, alternating bursts of X-ray and ultraviolet light must strobe the area until SCP-002 is reaffixed to the power supply and returned to recharging mode. Containment area is to be kept at negative air pressure at all times. Teams including a minimum of 2 members are required within 20 meters of SCP-002 or its containment area. Personnel should maintain physical contact with one another at all times to confirm there is another person present, as perception may be dulled, skewed, or influenced by proximity to the object. No personnel below level 3 are permitted within SCP-002. This requirement may be waived via written authorization from 2 off-site level 4 administrators. Command staff issued such a waiver must be escorted by at least 5 level 3 security personnel for the duration of their contact and must temporarily surrender their rank and security clearance. Following contact, command staff will be escorted at least 5 kilometers from SCP-002 to undergo a 72-hour quarantine and psychological evaluation. If deemed fit for return to duty by psych staff, rank and security clearance may be restored when quarantine expires. And this thing sounds dangerous. I feel like that's probably all SCPs. They're probably all very dangerous. Description: SCP-002 resembles a tumorous, fleshy growth with a volume of roughly 6 meters. I don't remember what the 3 is. Is it cubed? What is the 3? The 3, it's not cubed, right? Cubed is like 4, and then squared is 2. What is the 3? Wait, let me Google this. Squared, cubed. What is 3 to the 3rd power? What is the 3rd power? What is that? What is that called? I don't remember. What is the 3rd called? The cube. Oh, it is cubed. Okay, I was right. You know, I was doubting myself, but in reality, I should not have been. It is 60 meters cubed, or 2,000 feet cubed. An iron valve hatch on one side leads to its interior, which appears to be a standard low-rent apartment of modest size. One wall of the room possesses a single window, though no such opening is visible from the exterior. The room contains furniture which, upon close examination, appears to be sculpted bone, woven hair, and various other biological substances produced by the human body. All matter tested thus far show independent or fragmented DNA sequences for each object in the room. Hello, Hina. Yes, today is the early ASMR stream, if this can even be called ASMR. Who knows? Also, hello, Neat. Hello. Welcome. I'm trying my best out here, but I've never done ASMR before, and I have no idea how to do it. Also, I have a dynamic microphone, which I have heard is not good for ASMR. So I've tried my best. Whisper more. How do I... If I whisper like this, it just sounds weird. Whispering. It's just so weird. I've just been trying to talk in like a lower tone. Because whispering sounds kind of weird to me. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's interesting. So oh no, my Stream Deck isn't set up correctly. Why is it not muting my audio? Oh, because it's a different. Oh, that's not good. So I set up a whole different audio on my OBS for doing just specifically this, because it's got like a different compressor and things. And I just realized that my Stream Deck does not activate the mute when I want it to. That's not good. Just have to manually mute it, I guess. But back to the SCP. Refer to Mulhausen Report Cross-Reference Document 00.023.603 for details related to the object's discovery. Oh, you got a new phone, Nee? Oh, what kind? What kind? I got the iPhone and something, I think. 'Cause that's apparently the cheapest VTube iPhone you can get. I got that a bit ago. The reference to date, subject has been responsible for the disappearance of 7 personnel. It has also in its time at the facility further furnished itself with 2 lamps, a throw rug, a television, a radio, a beanbag chair, 3 books in an unknown language, 4 children's toys, and a small potted plant. Tests with a variety of lab animals, including higher primates, have failed to provoke a response in SCP-002. Cadavers as well fail to produce any effect. It's a cheap Samsung. Oh. The old phone is literally falling apart. Yeah, I actually had a cheap Samsung before too. It was I don't remember what it was, but it was like real cheap, and the battery is like completely shot. Can you request your favorites SCP? Sure. I've just been reading them in order so far, but I can go look for a random one. Or not random, but like whichever one. Let's see. I think I read this. Whatever process the subject uses to convert organic matter into furnishings is apparently only facilitated by the introduction of living humans. View Mulhausen Report Doc ID 00.023.603. SCP-3300. Alright, we'll read that after I finish reading this report. The Mulhausen Report 00.023.603. The following is a brief report detailing the discovery of SCP-002. Subject was discovered in a small crater in northern Portugal, where it struck the Earth from orbit. Encased in a shell of thick rock, the fleshy exterior of the object was exposed by the impact. A native farmer happened upon the site and reported his findings to the village elder. Subject gained SCP attention when a level 4 agent posted in the area detected a small radioactive anomaly generated by the object. A collection squad of SCP security personnel, led by the General Mulhausen, I don't know how to pronounce his name, was immediately dispatched to the area, where they quickly secured the subject in a large container and performed initial testing with subjects recruited from the nearby village. 3 men individually sent into the structure subsequently... Man, it's so hard to talk. Subsequently disappeared. I don't know how to say that word. I'm thinking too much about it. When discovering this deadly property of the subject, General Mulhausen issued a level 4A termination order of any witnesses, roughly 1/3 of the village, to ensure no outside knowledge of the object and initiated its transport to SCP facility, data expunged. SCP-084 is also a really fun one. We'll get to all of them, do not worry. During preparation for transport, 4 SCP security personnel were inexplicably drawn inside the object, where they too immediately disappeared. Following inspection, it appeared as if the object had grown several new furnishings and was beginning to look like the interior of an apartment room. General Mulhazen, I say that differently every single time, immediately ordered the requisition of several Class 3 hazmat suits to the remaining security team members, who proceeded to lift the container onto a waiting freight ship for transport to the SCP containment facility. Yes, hello, Chiru. It is I. Okay, man, so words are hard in English is... Nah. English is great. It's just the words are difficult. I don't get what is happening, but make sure you... Oh, hydrate, thank you. I will hydrate on my fizzy water. We are reading SCP files, Hina, come on. The SCP, the famous secure, contain, protect. Nah, Chiru, it's only like 5 p.m. for you, but go to sleep. Go sleep. Get that sleep. Let SCP-002 cuddle you to sleep. And it's bone bedding. Alright, let's see. Data expunged. Data expunged. Following the termination of General Mulhazen, SCP-002 was resecured by SCP staff and brought into special containment and classified, where it currently resides. Staff with clearance below Level 3 have been denied access to the SCP-002 container without prior approval of at least 2 Level 4 staff after the Mulhazen incident. Wonder what happened to good old Mulhazen. Now you will, yes, go rest. Go rest. Alright, how do I find SCP-3300? Okay, why is SCP Series 3 2000s? I guess that's because they start with SCP Series 1 and not SCP Series 0. 3300, the very first of its time, the rain. Oh, it's a Euclid again. We're really loving this Euclidean geometry. Alright. SCP-3300. Item number SCP-3300. Object class Euclid. Special containment procedures. Containment of SCP-3300 is focused on observation and ensuring it does not spread from the affected area. A mobile observation post has been set up 5 kilometers outside the town of Clearwater, Montana for this purpose. Attempts at manned exploration of SCP-3300 events are currently suspended. When the SCP-3300 event begins, the observation team will fall back to a point 10 kilometers from the town border and continue observation. Any unusual activity is to be noted. Any attempts made by outsiders to enter or exit the area will be halted. Non-lethal force is authorized for this purpose. Instances of SCP-3300-1 are attempting to leave Clearwater will be detained and interviewed under the pretense of a police search. Following this, they will be allowed to continue their travel under Foundation observation. All personnel involved in the containment of SCP-3300 are prescribed a weekly dose of Class Y monestics. I don't know how to pronounce that. Monestics? I don't know. back neat. Yes, grab all the snacks. They are very important. Description: SCP-3300 is an annual event in which the populace of Clearwater, Montana, henceforth SCP-3300-1, disappears and is replaced by a new set of citizens. The SCP-3300 event typically occurs in the mid-portion of June and lasts 6 to 18 days. The first 48 hours of each event are marked by light, continuous rain over the entire city. The rain is stationary and appears regardless of the weather in the surrounding area. Amnestics? Amnestics. Hello. Hello, Ringo. Thank you for the heckin' 17 months. That's crazy. Mumble stream. It is the Mumble ASMR. It's the only way I know how to do it. Because I don't have a good microphone for ASMR. And I don't know how to do ASMR, so this is the best I got. And you can't forget our good old Firekeeper giving us this great fire ASMR. No, Chi, I'm not that kind of ASMR artist. Sorry. This portion of the event ends when the rain transitions to a severe thunderstorm, lasting for the remaining duration of SCP-3300. That was a pop. The interior of an SCP-3300 event past this point has never been observed. Any attempt by the Foundation to explore the event has ended in either a total loss of personnel/equipment or a failure to even enter the phenomena. Several times, personnel entering SCP-3300 have emerged instantaneously on the other side. I was going to ask if that was an actual campfire in your house that I remembered. Yes, this is my campfire. I own this campfire. Definitely not something I just found on YouTube, and I'm probably going to get banned for showing. Don't worry. When the SCP-3300 event ends, all previous SCP-3300-1 instances will have been replaced by new iterations with completely new appearances, personalities, and memories. Beyond remarking on the unusually severe nature of the storm, new instances show no recollection of the events. Worth it? Worth what? Worth what? Man, I need to get me like a cheap condenser microphone, because that's what you use for ASMR. So maybe I'll think about getting a cheap one. I do want like a bunch of different microphones. You're worth it. Wow. You are worth it. Thank you guys. You guys make me feel worth it. Thank you. What is that emote? You should make audiobooks. I would, if they paid me. Where's the money? I have lost my place. Oh, here we go. Instances of SCP-3300-1 behave identically to baseline human beings. However, no record of any instance prior to their appearance from a SCP-3300 event exists. Instances will occasionally share names, professions, certain memories, and broad personality traits with those from previous iterations of SCP-3300. However, no SCP-3300-1 instance has been observed repeating from previous events. SCP-3300-1 instances are unaware of their anomalous nature and the circumstances surrounding their existence. Physical and post-mortem examinations reveal no differences from baseline humans. Instances of SCP-3300-1 outside of the town, when SCP-3300 occurs, will disappear several days after the event begins. All attempts to observe this disappearance have failed. What do you mean, where's the money? Where's the product? Well, I can't make an audiobook because that's like copyright infringement. I guess I could do like an audiobook of like Creative Commons, I believe is the term. Like old fairy tales. But who's paying for that? Your own story, duh. Well, that's just a lot of work. That's just a lot of work. Let's see. SCP-3300 is accompanied by a moderate cognitohazardous effect. Is that the word? Cognitohazardous? What a word. Outside citizens learning about the existence of the town of Clearwater or its citizens will give little thought to them unless the subject is brought to their distinct or direct attention. This effect affects focus. This effect affects focus rather than memory. Those affected do not forget that Clearwater exists, but rather show difficulty paying attention to it. Outside citizens familiar with disappeared instances of SCP-3300, shouldn't it be SCP-3300-1? Come on, SCP, you can write better than that. It should be instances of SCP-3300-1. Will not comment on their absence unless reminded. It even then show little concern. Why are you fecking? No fecking in my chat, please. The history of SCP-3300 is unknown. Records of its existence go back to the beginning of the Foundation. Despite this, almost no progress has been made in attempts to research the phenomena. Effects. It is a little difficult when the same word is two different words. You know. Addendum. The following journal was recovered in the aftermath of the SCP-3300 event, ending on 30th June 1995, and represents one of the few descriptions of what occurs during the phenomena. The writer of the document has been identified as SCP-3300/1995/4307, aka Margaret Lane. The events described in the journal are unverified. Attempts to automatically observe the interior of an SCP-3300 event are still underway. Can you believe he is an OG American and grew up with that language? Please, guys, like you can say everything correctly about your mother tongue. Just because I grew up with English does not mean English does not have bullshit. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Here is the addendum. Or here is the journal. Hey, if Kurt Cobain kept a journal, it can't be that bad of an idea, right? Help express my artistic side or something. Finally, get all the writing I've wanted to done. I don't know. Mom said it might be a good way for me to focus on things, which means she just wants an easy way to snoop and make sure I'm staying clean. Joke's on her, though, if she ever thinks she's going to be able to find this. Still, I guess it could be nice to have something to look back on. Hopefully to remind myself that things get better. Don't blame the language now. I blame everything but myself. Because look at me. I'm perfect. There's a dream I've been having, which is weird because I don't usually remember my dreams. But I've had this one like 3 times in the past week. In it, I'm not myself. I'm in a small hut, standing above the bed where my daughter lies. Her skin is red, blotchy. I'm praying that the disease won't take her, praying that she will recover, or that this is some other sickness. It's no use, I know. The corpse of my husband won't let me forget. Another of the healthy, a boy who thinks himself a man, calls us together. The few that remain. I gaze around the room and see these same expressions on their faces that I feel in my heart, all except the boy's. He grins as we enter and gestures to the bowl of water in front of him. I have found it, he says, the key to our salvation. And then it ends. Weird, right? No idea what to make of it. Anyway, I'm heading to Sam's, so this will be it for the day. Gray clouds on the horizon. We need the rain. I really needed that drink. This is killing my throat. So y'all better appreciate. I can't remember what the sun looks like. Joking. But it's been drizzling for 3 days and it doesn't look like it's gonna let up soon. Phones are patchy as hell too. Radio says we can expect the weather to continue for at least a week. David tried to come home earlier today, and I told him fuck right back off to the ditch he crawled out of. That I didn't care how good the shit he'd gotten his hands on was. He did his whole kicked puppy dog routine, but eventually left before Mom noticed, thank God. The rain's kind of relaxing, actually. It's got a rhythm to it. I could get used to this. Hydrate more? Okay. I will hydrate the most. You appreciate me with all your heart, thank you. I appreciate all of you just as much. Let's see. I don't think it's ever stormed this hard in my life. It's 2 in the afternoon, but looking outside, you'd swear it was midnight. My throat is starting to get sore, same, from shouting over the noise. No idea what the hell happened. 1 minute, it was drizzling. The next, someone flipped a switch to dump the entire Pacific Ocean onto our heads. Internet and phone are completely down. The few seconds of clear audio we can get is just a barrage of tornado and flood warnings. Nothing to do but hole up inside and see how many games of Monopoly we can play until Mom kills me or I kill myself. I swear, some of the people in this town must be absolutely insane, because sometimes when lightning flashes, I can see them walking around outside. Some of them just standing there. There is a lot to this. My God, there is a lot to this. There is so much to this. Not even halfway done. I'm riding this from the back of Jared's van, and we're going like 80 miles an hour down the highway, and Isabel's crying next to me, and I don't know what the fuck is going on. I think I'm gonna die. I'm gonna keep riding though. My hand shakes less when I write. It couldn't have been more than an hour ago that this happened. We were all at my place. Sam, Jared, Mike, and Isabel had all come over. I hadn't expected them, but Jared insisted he wasn't going to let something like tiny, like a biblical flood, stop us from exploring the bottom levels of the Dread Lich, Ars Ganoth's domain. They're playing D&D. Stupid. Stupid. So we rolled up and started playing like everything was normal. Sam DMing with those stupid little monster accents she does. Isabel and Mike arguing over every scrap of treasure and possible trap we come across. Man, now I want to play some D&D. Jared struggling just to keep us all from killing each other. Mom in the other room, pretending she wasn't listening in. If it's too much, you can just check out SCP-0686. Nah. We can do it. We can finish this one. I can't stop halfway through. It was Isabel who first noticed the banging on the door, like someone trying to break it down. At first, we weren't sure what to do. I mean, anyone banging that hard on your door so late is going to be suspicious, even if it's not a fucking hurricane outside, right? So we just sort of sat there staring at each other until Jared got up and grabbed a poker from the fireplace and went to check the peephole. I wonder what his first thought was. Surprise? Confusion? Did he just accept it like I did? Too stunned by the weirdness to question when he opened the door and saw family on our porch. A mom, dad, 2 kids. Never seen any of them before. For a second, we all just stared at each other. And then the dad shoved past Jared and said, "Why are you in my house?" Mom had come out of her room when she first heard knocking. When the guy said that, she flipped out instantly. "What do you mean your house, asshole? This is my house. What the hell are you doing just barging in here? I swear to God, you've got 10 seconds before the cops over here. Before I get the cops over here." God, I remember being annoyed, embarrassed, wishing she wouldn't flip out over everything. You want to play D&D? Me too. I want to play D&D. The dad's expression didn't change. He stepped forward again, and Jared tried to hold him back. When he did, the dad just flung him, snagged Jared by the collar, and tossed him through the living room into the kitchen. Jared smacked into a counter and went limp. And then Dad said again, in the exact tone, "Why are you in my house?" That was when Mom charged him with a golf club. He barely had time to react before she swung it into his chest. For a second, she looked pleased with herself. I'm sure she was already forming a story to tell all her friends about how she fought off the home invader. When she tried to pull the golf club back, she couldn't. The expression disappeared. The guy didn't look a little bit hurt, not even fazed. The club was stuck in his chest, and the skin around it was rippling, like when you throw a stone into a pond. Water dripped out from where the metal entered skin. You would, but later me and the bro want to watch a movie. Oh, what you guys gonna watch? I've actually been thinking of going to see that The War movie. I'm not going out to see it, but, just watching it whenever it comes out online. Mom stared. Then she screamed, fell back, scrambling at the door to get away. The man looked down at the club with the same expression you might look at a dead cockroach. He grasped it right below where it speared into him, yanked it from his chest, held it as he walked towards Mom. She stopped moving the first time he hit her in the head. She just fell like a rock. And he hit her again, and again, and again, and the whole time he was saying, my house, in the same fucking tone, the only fucking way he knew how to speak. And the kids were standing in the door just watching, and the wife was holding them close, and I swear to God she was smiling. Sam stood up, like she was going to charge the guy, but Mike wrapped himself around her and said, "Don't." And we had to run away, so we did. Mike and Sam grabbed Jared even though he wasn't moving, and I grabbed the journal without even thinking about it. And I don't remember anything after that except Sam driving and crying and Mike screaming, and all I could think about was the way Mom's body looked as she fell, the light disappearing from her eyes before her body hit the floor. You gonna go watch Bullet Train? I've never heard of that movie. What's it about? who's in it. Not that I actually know any actors by name. We drove right into the police station. Me and Mike decided to go inside. Just realized that Chad isn't showing up. That's unfortunate. I'll have to fix that if I do this again. Wait, that should be there. Weird. I copied it and pasted it from the other one, but I guess something broke. Unfortunate. We drove right to the police station. Me and Mike decided to go inside while Sam and Isabel watched Jared. The lights were on, but the station was locked and no one inside. We walked around, looked through every window. Nothing. When we got back to the car, Jared still wasn't awake, and his breathing was all fucked up. So we discussed it and decided to take him to the hospital in Landhart. It's only a 2-hour drive. We should be there soon. It'll be okay. Pitt is in Japan carrying a briefcase MacGuffin as assassins attack him on a bullet train. Sounds like a good classic action movie. We've been driving for 6 hours now. We're almost out of gas. Jared still isn't awake, and we haven't made it to Landhart yet. We've doubled back twice, looked for road signs, building lights, anything to tell us where the fuck we are. But there's nothing. No signs, no cities, not even a gas station. We haven't passed another car since we left my house. The rain's falling just as hard out here. Mike says we need to turn around, try to get back to town before we get stranded. Isabel says that's crazy. We need to just keep looking for the hospital. We don't have enough to make it back anyway. Sam says she's going to keep driving. That's all we can do at this point. Jared's dead, and we're out of gas. The car died maybe an hour ago. Jared maybe half an hour after that. No idea where we are. We decided to double back, see if we had passed the hospital again, but there was nothing. Isabel and Mike are going at it, each convinced this is the other's fault. Sam's ignoring them. She's sitting by Jared, holding his hand. She hasn't looked away from him since he stopped breathing. Hasn't said 10 words since we left town. I must have fallen asleep because I had another dream. I knew instantly it was a continuation from before. It was too clear, too substantial to be anything else. And even though I knew it was a dream, I couldn't do anything but watch. I stand ankle deep in a vast, clear river. I am holding the corpse of my daughter. I'm not sure how I recognize her, as taken by the sickness as she is. Her hair has fallen out. Her skin is entirely covered in black scabs that hid even her eyes. Flecks of cracked skin fall away as my arms rub against her body. But for some reason, as I look at her, I don't feel sorrow. I feel hope. I kneel and place her body into the water. It drifts off on the surface. Then the water engulfs her, making her a part of it. She becomes the current that takes her, and I know it will sweep her to the sea where she can finally be at peace. But the work isn't done. I turn, wade back to shore where the blackened body of my husband waits. As I do, I become cognizant of the others. Man, I can't speak today. The survivors. Each has with them the bodies of their children, families, friends. 18 survivors, hundreds of bodies. One by one we take them to the river until only we remain. I woke up to the sound of Jared evaporating. It took me a moment to realize what was going on. The others were all scrambling around the body, and I couldn't get a good look. All I could see was the steam filling the car. When I pushed my way through, I saw his body was boiling. That's the best way to describe it. Bubbles writhing and popping across the surface of his skin. Drops of water leaping off him and burning where they touched us. The shape of him almost completely gone, aside from a vaguely human-looking lump within his clothes and some ridges that might have been facial features. Sam tried to touch the water to, stop it, save him, catch him, but the heat of the steam pushed her back. All we could do was watch as Jared fizzled away until the only thing left of him was vapor and soaked clothing. We decided to leave, or Mike and Sam decided to leave, and Isabel and I realized we don't have any choice but to follow. I mean, what difference did it make? Stay or go, the outcome would be the same. But I figured trying to find something out there might be better than staying in the car until we all starved to death. We grabbed the flashlight from the glove box and headed out. We couldn't have walked more than a mile before we reached the town. I almost bumped into Mike when he stopped walking after shining the light onto the "Welcome to Clear Water" sign. He didn't say anything. What could he say? We turned around, started walking the other way. Not sure how far. 2 miles, 3. We didn't pass the car, but it didn't matter. We ended up back at the sign, in the city. Sam turned, walked off the highway and into the farmland surrounding it. We followed. We knew it wouldn't work, but we followed anyway. On the other side of the field, we found ourselves back on the highway in front of the sign. Mike insisted he wasn't going back. No fucking way. He'd rather take the risk out in the rain rather than spend another second with whatever was in that city. We pointed out that whatever was in the city was pretty clearly outside of it too. And at last the city had food. At least the city had food. He wouldn't listen. So we started walking, and 3 minutes later he caught up. Didn't say a word. The lights in the town were all on, but there were no people, no cars. A few times I thought I saw movement, but I was always just a branch or piece of trash picked up by the wind. We were on alert the whole time, but nothing happened. We decided to hole up in Dirk's Sporting because it had guns and was right next to the grocery store. Sam and Mike went and grabbed food while Isabel and I, meaning just I, took stock at the store. When the others came back, we started working out shifts to sleep in. 2 awake at the same time. I volunteered for the first shift, even though I felt like I wanted to collapse. I just couldn't stand the dream again. Let me take a sip of water. Mike shot himself, and we're a lot more fucked than I first thought. For a while, I was still holding on to the idea of survival, that there was some sort of exit to whatever fucked up situation we found ourselves in. There isn't. I don't think there ever was. This is the only ending I could have hoped for. But if I keep thinking about that, I'm gonna go fucking insane, so... He's dead, Mike. Mike, he's dead. We were on shift together when he got up and said he'd be back in a minute. Figured he was just going to the bathroom until I heard the gunshot. I got there about 20 seconds before Sam and Isabel. His body was slumped against a wall, a shotgun barrel stuck in his mouth. There was no blood, and I thought he'd missed or accidentally discharged it until I saw the hole in the back of his skull. Then I realized there was something splattered on the wall behind him, but it wasn't blood. It was water. What a transition. Sometimes you just gotta drink before someone caps himself, you know. Thank you for the hydrate, Hina. I will drink even more. Tasty, tasty water. Unlike this water, which seems terrifying. Hydrate, gee, that's not how it works, but just for you, I will hydrate again. Okay. Isabel screamed when she saw the body. I heard her gasping and ignored her. Sam knelt next to me, close enough that I could feel her trembling. For a moment, the only noise was her ragged breathing and Isabel's whimpers. Then Sam reached out and ran her fingers along the rim of Mike's skull. She drew them back, stared. A small noise rose from the back of her throat. Her fingertips were coated in water. Before I could react, she thrust more fingers into the wound. Water ran down her hands as she dug through what should have been his brain. Water sloshed in the chalice of his skull. When we lowered his body to rest on the floor, it was water that pooled on the wood. Sam leaped up, ran to the counter, snatched a knife from its sheath and held it to her arm. We stared at each other. I didn't want her to do it, didn't want to see what would happen. She sliced open her arm, and water spilled from the wound. She stared at the injury, too distracted to notice Isabel calling to us. It wasn't until she ran over and yanked on my sleeve that I remember she existed. Outside was all she said. Hundreds of people had gathered outside the window, unmoving silhouettes staring through the darkness, filling the street. When lightning flashed, I saw the faces of strangers soaked by the rain. They've been there for 2 hours now. Haven't moved an inch. They're outside every window, every exit. I don't know how long they're willing to wait, but I'm damn sure it's longer than we have. Maybe Mike had the right idea. Sam left and we didn't bother to stop her. She muttered something before she stood and marched out the door. I don't remember thinking as I watched her leave that I should do. Oh, I remember thinking as I watched her leave that I should do something. I should reach out or call to her or block her exit. But the thought wouldn't make it past my brain, like there was a wall between my nerves and my body. I just stared as she stepped into the rain. The silhouette shifted as soon as she was outside. They opened up to let her through, and she vanished into them, into the dark. I don't want to go back. That's what she said before she left. In my dream, I am the storm, and I am screaming. The wind whips at me like razors raking through my body. The frozen rain bites at my skin. Except I don't have a body, and I don't have skin. The wind is a part of me. The rain is from me. Every second I rip myself apart and reform, rip and reshape until I am scattered over miles of storm. Trapped in the roil. Around me, I hear the screams of my village. I feel their presence against mine just as much as part of the storm as I. We fight, struggle, but the storm cannot be broken. It hurtles over the land, dragging us in its wake. And then I am falling, rushing to meet the ground. For a moment, the earth embraces me. I remember what it felt like to feel the dirt beneath my skin and the sun on my skin and the crisp air in my lungs. Until the storm steals me again, and I am pulled back into the screams of my comrades. I woke up, and Isabella's was gone. Just a puddle of water on the floor. I think the rain is speaking to me. I can hear it ever since I woke up. I don't know what it's saying, but the whispers in my ear are getting louder. When I cover my ears, it's still there. If I scream, it rises over the screaming. I'm trying to write, just to focus on anything else, but the fucking voice is still there, and I know what it wants me to do. It wants me to join it. I'm its child, and it misses me. It can't bear to be apart. What can I do? What can I do? The strangers are still outside, watching me, waiting for my choice. Because they know what my choice will be, don't they? There's only one way this can end. I can wait and starve, or shoot myself, or slice my wrists, or walk out into the rain. But it's all going to end the same way. The water is eternal. The water will remain no matter how polluted it becomes. At the end, we all become rain. I don't want to go back. And that's SCP-3300. Man, that one took a bit, huh? Oh, I think I'm going to also probably end it right now because my throat is not feeling great. Not feeling great. And I was planning to only do about an hour anyways, so this is a good time. Good time to end it on water and death and despair. What a day. What a day. Maybe we can read one more. Maybe just one more. A few more minutes. Maybe just one more. Let's see. I guess we should just go to SCP-003, Biological Motherboard. Let me see. Ooh, this one's not too long. We can read this. Let's see. SCP-003. Object Class Euclid. So many Euclids. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-003 is to be maintained at a constant temperature of no less than 35 degrees Celsius and ideally kept above 100 degrees Celsius. No living multicellular organism of Category 4 or higher complexity may be allowed to come into contact with SCP-003. In event of total power failure, if SCP-003-1 begins to increase its mass, assigned personnel must engage in skin contact with SCP-003-1. Ideally, personnel may use their body heat to return SCP-003-1 to above the critical temperature. However, skin contact must be maintained even in the event of SCP-003 reaching activation temperature, lasting at minimum until SCP-003-1 advances fully to its second growth stage. Personnel who enter SCP-003's containment area must first be examined for body parasites of Category 4 or higher complexity, and sterilized if such organisms are present. All personnel who have come in physical contact with SCP-003-1 are to immediately report for sterilization afterwards. SCP-003-1 must not be removed from SCP-003-2 except in case of emergency procedures detailed above. Any significant change in SCP-003-2's ruin activity, including pattern, frequency, or color, should be reported within 3 hours of occurrence. Cessation of ruin activity must be reported immediately. SCP-003-2 must be supplied with power via the source designated Generator 003-IX at all times. I believe IX is 9 here. Today was not a good day to not put on my air conditioning. I'm sweating over here. This fire is too hot. It's too hot. To not have a fire in summer was not a good idea. SCP-003. Oh wait. Description. SCP-003 consists of 2 related components of separate origin, referred to as SCP-003-1 and SCP-003-2. SCP-003-1 appears to be composed of chitin, hair, and nails of unknown biology, arranged in a configuration similar to that of a computer motherboard. Testing reveals SCP-003-1 to predate earliest known circuit boards by a factor of thousands of years. SCP-003-1 is considered sentient but not actively dangerous except under certain conditions. SCP-003-1 was found on a stone tablet, SCP-003-2, on which it currently resides. The ruins on SCP-003-2 are not known part of any known language and emit pale, flickering light patterns. SCP-003-2 is controlled by a non-biological internal computer, the contents of which are mostly inaccessible without risk of damaging SCP-003-2. SCP-003-2 is capable of controlled emissions of radiation, including heat, light, and anomalous radiation types. I can say that word, don't worry. SCP-003-2 contains an internal power source of an anomalous nature, which appears to have been losing power since several centuries before discovery. It is considered probable that SCP-003-2 was created for the purpose of containing SCP-003-1. Partially interpreted data recovered from SCP-003-2 may refer to a past and/or potential future LK-class restructuring event caused by SCP-003-1. SCP-003 was located by Remote Viewing Team SRV-04 Beta. It appears possible that SRV-04 Beta was deliberately contacted by SCP-003-2. Other organizations may have also been alerted to SCP-003's existence, possibly by similar means. Despite this activity, SCP-003-2 does not appear to be sentient based on its lack of reaction to MO3-Gloria analysis and procedures. When SCP-003 drops below the temperature of 35 degrees Celsius, both components react. First, SCP-003-1 enters a growth state characterized by an exponential increase in mass. The growth state consists of two stages. In both stages, SCP-003-1 partially fuels its growth by converting matter around it, starting with any surrounding inorganic material, including atmospheric elements, then non-living organic material, including cells of dead skin, hair, chitin, enamel, keratin, and other biological materials. The first stage is always the same. SCP-003-1 will first increase its mass, then take a form similar in shape to an Ophiuroid orbital star of 15 meters in diameter, including what appears to be a central processor of 3 meters in diameter. It will form sensory organs that appear to scan its surrounding environment and will partially convert the area around it to an unidentified anomalous substance. SCP-003-2 seems immune from conversion. This is a bit longer than I thought it would be. The second stage describes a growth alteration which occurs when SCP-003 comes into contact with living organic material. SCP-003 appears to template itself off of organic material and will attempt communication with organisms that which its initial template or templates, that match its initial template or templates. In the second stage, SCP-003-1 may pause, slow, or change its growth, and will also convert inorganic and non-living organic elements into functionally similar structures, all anomalously altering their physical makeup. That word is going to destroy me eventually. All growth is consistent in the first stage. In the second stage, SCP-003-1's growth rate is diminished by 20 to 90%, so long as SCP-003-1 remains in contact with living organic material. The percentage is determined by the complexity of the organisms in contact with SCP-003-1. SCP-003-1 appears to devote a large amount of processing power to analysis of living organic material. I know. That is me. I can only know. During each of SCP-003-1's growth stages, SCP-003-2 releases bursts of radiation that temporarily inhibit SCP-003-1's growth, or reverse this growth when the temperature of SCP-003-1 rises above 100 degrees Celsius. Similar radiation emissions have been replicated or recorded via other anomalous means. Oh, almost done. SCP-003-1's biology has been the subject of extensive study. Significant elements have been identified similar to SCP redacted, SCP-1512, and SCP-2756. the latter two of which have no further confirmed connection with SCP-003-1 and no known connection with each other, and none of which are fully understood. Technically even less understood than SCP-003, thanks to the extensive cross-disciplinary research on the SCP-003's objects. To date, no convincing analysis has been put forward which satisfactorily explains SCP-003-1's connection to these SCP objects or others, nor its connection to modern technology beyond appearance, and potentially mimicry via unknown mechanism. Addendum 003-01. Acting on information gathered from linguistic analysis of SCP-003-2's ruins and comprehensive data analysis, Research Team MO3-Gloria has managed to establish a link between SCP-003 and data expunged for analysis of functions. SCP-003-1 must now be considered sentient and is to be kept a minimum of 1 kilometer from data expunged and the resulting byproduct at all times. Addendum 003-02. SCP-003-2's power loss has been exacerbated by the process. I'm going to retry that. SCP-003-2's power loss has been exacerbated by the procedures performed by MO3-Gloria. On orders of O5-10, MO3-Gloria will continue procedures. Addendum 003-03. During MO3-Gloria procedures, SCP-003-1 doubled its mass and began rapid structural growth. Temperature was immediately returned to 100 degrees Celsius. Growth and mass increase of SCP-003-1 continued for 9 minutes and 6 seconds, at which time a sustained radiation spike was produced by SCP-003-2. In response, SCP-003-1 returned to its normal state in 3 minutes and 39 seconds. New growth dissolved into a dusty residue which was collected for analysis. Both SCP-003-1 and SCP-003-2 ceased all detectable activity. SCP-003-2 did not resume activity until connected to external power source. SCP-003-2's ruins glowed uniformly gray and did not resume normal activity for 3 hours. SCP-003-2 no longer appears to be able to maintain containment area at a temperature above 35 degrees Celsius without external power supplied by generations 003-III through IX. Addendum 003-04. The procedure detailed in Addendum 003-03 was repeated and look more blood here, isn't that crazy? Hello, senpai. Hello. You can hear my voice vibrations. So soothing. Good. That is the point of ASMR. To be as soothing as possible. Welcome. But you caught me just at the end of it. So sad. This is the very last part I'm reading. Well, there's a little bit after this, but there's, we're ending soon because my voice is dying and my throat is dying harder. All right, let's return to Addendum 003-04. So sad, but now you have the VOD too. True. And it'll also be up on my my VOD YouTube channel forever and ever mocking me. The procedure detailed in Addendum 003-03 was repeated, and SCP-003-1 again entered a growth state. After 10 minutes and 13 seconds, SCP-003-2 once again produced a sustained radiation spike. SCP-003-1's growth stopped for 36 seconds, then resumed at its previous pace. On quadrupling its mass, SCP-003-1 formed a coherent outer shell and body. After appearing to scan its environment and partially converting its environment, SCP-003-1 then breached containment, entering the observation gallery where 9 members of MO3 Gloria were present. On physical contact with team members, SCP-003-1 encompassed them in rapidly grown appendages and stopped growth for 15 minutes. SCP-003-1 then resumed growth and rearranged the component parts of the center of its form to the shape of a 3-meter-tall female humanoid, with peripheral tentacles shifting to extrude primarily from SCP-003-1's newly formed hair and spine. SCP-003-1 then produced rudimentary vocalizations in an apparent initial attempt to communicate with researchers. Data expunged. An unknown individual approached the compromised containment area in company of a full squad of agents. The individual claimed to be acting on orders of O5-10 and attempted communication with SCP-003-1. Data expunged. Thank you, Chief, for the hydrate, which I will do so right now. Following this incident, Agent Jackson of MO3-Gloria successfully restored power to SCP-003-2 and activated backup generators to return to the temperature to 100 degrees Celsius. SCP-003-1 returned to its normal state in 21 minutes and 7 seconds and was successfully recontained without incident. All 9 members of MO3-Gloria affected by SCP-003-1 were afterwards found to be physically unharmed, with no residual effects besides psychological trauma. The converted materials of SCP-003's former containment area did not dissolve and now are under analysis. Addendum 003-05. In light of the previous incident, O5-10 was removed from the O5 Council by joint decision of O5-blank and O5-blank and O5-blank. MO3 Gloria. Procedures have been indefinitely suspended. Special Access Program MO3 Gloria required. Access granted. Display files. Oh, maybe next time we'll start. Oh, wait, okay, wait, no, this is just like a little extra part. Transcript of Incident Report A21-B Cycle 8 for dissemination to O5 Command and Staff. Interviewers blank, blank, and blank. Present O5-2, O5-5, O5-7, O5-10, and staff. Interviewed Dr. Tilda David Moose, MO3 Gloria Lead. Excerpt 35A. She tried to talk to us. We all heard her voice in our heads in a sort of half language we couldn't fully understand. Some of the others passed out immediately. I lasted a little longer, but it wasn't because of mental fortitude. It's just that she was trying to tell us different things. She showed Jones a replay of all the memories of everything Jones ever felt anything about, all over the course of a few minutes. She ripped 3 of the researchers apart and put them back together unharmed. She doesn't understand human emotion or pain, or very much about how we experience the world. Yes, I would say the containment procedures are necessary. Listen, she wants to remake the world into a paradise filtered through her own alien understanding of paradise, but still a paradise designed for us, for humanity. She would be happy to make a paradise for any sufficiently complex organism she comes across first. Anything with a complex enough mind to accept her. Say, a dog or a housefly. If she breaches again, we have to be there first. What would it be like? I don't know. She showed us images, not quite images. I can see them in my head, but they're not pictures. The closest thing I can think of is what you see when you close your eyes suddenly and tightly, but brighter and more complex. The images had metallic sounds associated with them, and sensory details that we don't have the words or concepts to describe. The whole effect felt like the words of some kind. I believe she wanted to see what we could understand so she could understand us. She didn't have time to finish analyzing us. I don't know what would have happened if she had. And that's the end of SCP-003. Oh, my poor throat. My poor throat. Heck. But it looks like Ringo has finally started her stream. So late. Ringo, what are you doing so late? But at least now I can raid her. Because I need to go eat. I need to go sleep. Because I'm tired as heck. You made her late. Sorry, you kept showing her stuff. Wow. Not even sharing with the class. Gee, so sad. So sad. Don't leave you, man. Neat. Don't worry. I'll be back tomorrow. And I might also have an extra stream next week. Who knows? Look forward to the maybe. Look forward to the unknowable. And I think I might do a stream like this again once my throat stops dying. Maybe like another SCP reading stream. We can be tired together. You've been up since 3 a.m. Go to sleep. Take a nap. Oh, but it looks like Ringo's actually playing the actual Gwent card game. That's crazy. Not even The Witcher, but just straight up Gwent. Thanks for the stream. Thanks for the redeem, Eddie, for making this stream happen. Yes, ASMR by The Eddie. Well, The Eddie's redeem. This is all because of Eddie, so blame him. But I need to go now. Goodbye, everybody. Let's raid Ringo. Let's see. Yep. She is still doing that good old Gwent. Nothing's changed in the 2 minutes since I looked at her stream. Let me make sure Yep. Okay. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for the stream. Thanks for being here, everybody. Thanks for being here. Making my ASMR debut so fun. Have a nice day. Goodbye.